super sneak attack. So we're gonna finish up the questions because, I was complaining, whining, and not gonna lie, the live streams every day are a little bit of a dick dragger for me. But I know that people like him. I know that it's good for community, so we're gonna keep on grinding doing them. Plus, I was late for my class, so that's why I was kind of annoyed. Anyway, we will of course continue to live our life because if we don't, the terrorists win. There we go. So, finishing out the questions. Let's see. We did Baker's. Robbie, Kendrick Green or Ben Cleveland? Kind of depends on what you want. Where Kendrick Green would be that perfect scheme fit zone blocking guard. I think that he is the highest graded zone blocking guard in the draft. I may be mistaken. But Ben Cleveland, if he just wants size for days, I think they're both relatively good to go anchor-wise in one-on-one spots. Cleveland obviously a little bit better than Green, but there's trade-offs in everything. And I think they both will be there. Late third, maybe early fourth round area. Sure. Eric Anderson, Kyle Pitts, or Penny Sewell? It's $1 million question, man. So Pitts, positional value wise, Penny Sewell, left tackle over a move tight end, yes. But Kyle Pitts just has a chance to be a transcendent talent. Penny Sewell has a chance to be extremely good, generational talent potentially. But I mean, Kyle Pitts is already there, man. I wouldn't be shocked if Kyle Pitts is an all-pro his rookie year. So it'd be what? Kelsey and Kyle Pitts? Since it's sort of unfair that he'll be it's going to be close. Well, Kelsey, Kittle, Pitts, where, man, yeah, it's going to be unfair because Pitts will be labeled a tight end, but he'll be used all over the place, a la Kelsey, a la Darren Waller. And the more that I think about it, the more him in Atlanta with Arthur Smith and essentially replacing Julio Jones in the red zone, that's amazing. I love it. Stanley Steamer. I think Slick Rick is a below average judge of talent. How will he screw up the draft for the Wilfs to find? How will he screw up the draft? Probably Zim gotta go. Props to sharing the donations. PSB specific and don't say something foolish like draft a kicker in third round. Even so, how would he screw it up? I guess if he ignores the offensive line again, like say they go defense or specifically cornerback in the first round, maybe they pick up a couple of mid-round slappies, but turn out to be TJ Clemmings and Willie Beavers, and the offensive line just implodes again, and you're starting like Rashad Hill or Dakota Dozier because you're too damn stubborn to do anything. I think that might be the final straw, where you had ample opportunity, both in free agency and the draft, as well as retaining Riley Reif, but you didn't do it. Rob E., Rashad Weaver or Cameron Sample? I like both, but I would give the slight edge to Sample. Mainly, sample size, Costco free samples. Mainly because it just sticks with you what he did at the Senior Bowl, where you put aside college production, small conference, kind of a one-year wonder, but what he did on one-on-one spots where you're betting on projection over production. Yeah, I mean, Cam Sample could be that guy. Christian Hansen, Darisaw or Pitts? It's pretty close. I would go Pitts, but it's super close. Sort of the inverse of the Pitts Penny Sewell argument. Leonard, is Eric Fisher still a free agent? Yeah, I think he may be a free agent for a while. Depending on what happens with that Achilles, I think that he may be out there chilling until he proves that Achilles is good to go, and then I think a team might sign him. I wouldn't be shocked if if the Chiefs run it back with him on a small deal. Obviously, he's going to be playing right tackle. Orlando Brown's going to be playing left tackle. O'Sullivan, Surtain or Parsons? I would go Parsons, and it's not so much in terms of overall positional value, because you have off-ball linebacker who can also rush the passer versus a cornerback. Cornerback obviously is going to be a little bit more valuable in a vacuum. But in terms of gap of where they are in this draft, because if Farley was completely healthy, Surtain would be cornerback 2. Maybe cornerback 3, depending on how you see J.C. Horn. I'm very bullish on him too. But it's Parsons, it's Joke, and then it's a big drop-off. It is. And Parsons and Joke are two completely different flavors of off-ball linebacker as well. And Parsons just has a chance to be that guy, man. Where a guy where you have an inside linebacker who also racks up 10 sacks a season. Yeah, he could be that dude. Doesn't need to work on coverage, though. John Lindsay, don't you think if we draft a tackle that we are wasting Ezra's talent? Possibly, but also I'm not going to pigeonhole my draft strategy based on one player. Like I'm going to rack up as much value as possible at stages of the draft. Where 14, yes, you could say AVT is there or Darrisaw is there. Darrisaw, in my mind, is a better player, and he plays a more important position. Also, you could potentially kick Darrisaw into guard. I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but you could think about it. Or if the Vikings land Rashawn Slater. Slater and Ezra, they both split reps at left tackle, and whoever wins, wins, and the loser kicks inside. It could be a spot like that, where I'm not just going to go out of the way to draft a guard because Ezra is going to be at left tackle, right? If it works out that way, sure. I mean, if the 3 tackles are gone, AVT is that dude, or you trade down and you take Dickerson or whoever, yes, then fully understandable. Next up, R3. How far will you throw a TV if the Vikings trade up to take a corner that probably could have gotten at 14? So if they trade up to 11 or 12 and take Surtain or Horn, I mean, they're both good players, but what, you're going to give up a third or fourth to get a guy that you could have got at 14? I won't throw them. They're bolted into the walls anyways. Atso Mikkonen. Passing on Fields or Lance at 14 would be disgusting and ignorant. If Spielman does that, I won't watch a game before he is fired. People always say that, except they always come back. Or it's like after every election, the people who voted for the other side are always like, I'm leaving America. But both left and right, by the way. And then no one ever does. And I was like, please. So you're still watching. Pass on Fields and Lance. But yeah, if one of those guys gets to 14, I think it's too much value to pass up. Like, barring something stupid like Pitts or, well, yeah, it'd be close. Nah, just get your guy. You have 9 other picks. AJ Barnes. Do you think the reason we didn't pull the trigger on Orlando Brown was because they didn't think he would be better than a tackle that they believed in getting the draft? It's a possibility, but why not have both options? Where if a trade for Orlando Brown did not include 14, which it potentially wouldn't have, unless it was a pick swap, 14 for 27, why not? Why not just stack up and give yourself more options? It's like a line of thinking among some of the fans that, oh, the Vikings didn't spend up on free agency in the offensive line because they could just get a guy at 14 or in the 3rd round. That's not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee that the guy specifically you want at 14 and for damn sure in the 3rd round, they're not a guarantee to be there. So why not check all of your boxes, cover all of your bases before you go into the draft, and then you can just go BPA at every single stage of the draft. Like, that's how the good teams do it. But the Vikings are just gambling. Maybe it works out. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's it. That is the second part of the Daily Jeromes live stream. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Skull, production value.